Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Guns, brought to you by Patriot Patch Company. This show offers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Matthew LaRosiere, and I'm joined by my stunning co-host, Sean Heron. How are you, gorgeous?
I am wonderful, and my beard is, I don't know, I'm having a good beard day, I think. I don't
Are you?
know.
Do you use a beard oil?
Balm and oil on occasion, but they don't seem to work. It's still like armpit hair.
Yeah, I've tried all of the different ones, and it's like I get some skin irritation under it, and it just seems like it makes my beard feel greasy.
No, so the one I use, it's like awesome, and I do use it. I actually didn't use it today, but my girlfriend loves the way it smells. It does make it a little bit softer. Michigan Man Soap is the place that I get mine, and it's awesome. Like the Gentleman's Blend smells wonderful.
All right, dope. Michigan Man Soap. If you want me to try it, send us some money. But it's the 351st episode of This Week in Gun.
Yeah.
Which is a cool thing, and I brought a little prop. We have a 1907 Winchester in 351 Winchester.
Dang.
These are really cool. A very early semi-automatic rifle that charges all stupid.
Oh, geez, I've seen that before.
Yeah. These were used by some French, I think it was air crewmen in World War I. They were just an interesting gun adopted by a lot of police departments, etc. But the cool thing about this is you look at this gun and you'd think that's like gas operated or recoil operated or something, right?
Yeah.
It's actually straight blowback.
Really?
And it uses a really stout cartridge, the 351 Winchester. It has some slap to it. And how they do that is there's actually a massive weight hiding under this forearm.
What?
Like this whole thing right under this wood is solid steel. And you can really feel that when you cock it back. Like the bolt is only this big, but it's connected to like a chunk that's just sitting under this forearm.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Big bore. I mean, it's basically a 9mm rifle. Look it up. 351 Winchester. Cool thing. Cool little piece of history. It's called the Winchester 1907 self-loader. But yeah, that's my prop for the 351 episode.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
Right on.
I didn't even know that existed, actually.
Well, yeah, and honestly, they're pretty affordable because a lot of people look at it and you just kind of think, oh, that's a FUD gun. But they've got a lot of pretty cool military and otherwise history behind them. They were used by some pretty dope outlaws to, shoot alcohol prohibition agents. So neat thing to have in your collection.
Very nice. That does look like a pretty crazy cartridge too.
Yeah, it's a fat boy. That's like it's the 300 blackout of its day.
Yeah, 200 grain, like 2,000 feet per second. What?
Yeah, you don't want to get slapped by that thing. And then thinking of that coming from an unlocked breech, super cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
They do beat the hell out of themselves though because of that. Like it'll be hard to find one without cracked wood. Like this wood is cracked everywhere, but you can get them for really cheap. They're really fun to shoot. Yeah, they're cool.
That's awesome. I love it.
But right on. So, I mean, if we're gonna get straight into it, I know you are big into 3D printing, partially because of the influence of our mutual friends.
Yeah.
What you might not have known, what a lot of people might not have known, is that we had been on Keybase for a long time. Keybase was a very encrypted platform that was super, at the time, we went in super pro free speech, super pro expression and everything. Well, they just banned the 3D printing gun communities.
That's very interesting. So yeah, after Control Pew was on WLS, I downloaded, installed, and joined the Keybase, and I saw recently that they had basically banned it all and gave them, 30 days or whatever to get rid of everything. That day, I uninstalled Keybase. But
yeah, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I have no use for it anymore, and they can eat it. Yeah.
Well, so what happened is Zoom bought it, right? And they're a typical lizard-run megacorp, but they I guess DebtDisc was one of the big users, right? And so you couldn't fly under the radar for long. At first, and I was present for a lot of this stuff. At first, they reached out and said, "Hey, here's what's going to happen. You have all this time to basically gather your things and leave." And here's the deal: we're going to let you leave a page up saying where you went, so that all your guys can find you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they just didn't.
Wow.
They just yeeted it.
Really?
So yeah, so it's like, it's not only did you do the thing, but they kind of like got that last stab in at the end. It's so strange. It might have been that like there were people from the OG team trying to keep it better. I don't know, but I just know it's left a really sour taste in our mouths.
Yeah, forget them, man. Just another company. I personally have been hit by a tech company just shutting stuff down randomly recently. So like this hits hard. It's stupid.
Yeah, and like we always talk about, I do wonder what the objective is.
Yeah.
It's unquestionable that like they might have some crackpot theories, but they can't be responsible for what these users are doing, especially when it's legal.
Yeah.
It's just utterly bizarre. It's utterly bizarre. I don't understand it. And the best way, honestly, if they're trying to like stop people from sharing plans and printed guns online, I can't think of a worse way to try to stop people from doing it than by martyrizing everyone at the same time
and sending it all underground. Yeah,
exactly.
And so Keybase was basically file storage, but also had like community features and things like that, like chat. And did they have versioning and all that good stuff? Or
I don't know. I just know that it was, great, robust chat system mixed in with file storage, which was perfect for this type of thing. But I guess I don't know, like, maybe because I'm narrow-minded, I don't know like how useful that would be for others. I guess that's useful for everyone, but this is like kind of the perfect thing. And then Zoom steps in and goes, no, you can't have freedom. Not on our server.
It's funny because they just kicked 27,000 people off of their platform.
Yeah.
Like basically, I don't get it. I don't understand what the end run is. I don't even know. I'm with you. I don't know what people share on Keybase. I never saw anything else other than the gun stuff, but okay. Well, bye, losers.
Yeah. Later, losers. Speaking of losers, Remington. They're back. So yeah, a lot of you guys know Remington went into bankruptcy and their assets got all split up. Well, a new company, Rem Arms, which is owned by some pretty interesting players like in the Italian gun space, they just got their FFL approved, clearing the way for it to begin production on March 1st. That new firm, Rem Arms, owns the right to produce most of Remington's firearms except for the Marlin designs, which Ruger picked up.
I think that's a win for Marlin and Ruger, but we're not talking about them right now. Rem Arms, what are they going to make? Like the R51?
Well, there's always the 870 and the 700, right?
True. Yeah.
Which, let's just hope that Rem Arms can figure out how to Parkerize stuff.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. I'm sure you've picked up like a late model 870 and then watched it rust.
I haven't, but I have seen so many complaints about it.
Oh my God. I've seen it because I've had friends who will ask me what pump shotgun I recommended. I was always a Remington guy. I've had lots of old 870s, nice blued ones, and they would run awesome and never have an issue. And so I'd be like, oh, the 870, obviously. And here I was thinking, and this is of course many years ago, I was thinking they just get a used one for like $200.
Right.
Then they'd take my advice and go out and get a brand new 870, and it would just be like, this thing sucks.
That's your fault. You did.
Yeah. And so now I just tell people not to buy shotguns at all.
I'm curious. Like, I hope that they can turn it around. I hope that they can kind of get back on track. And, Remington was a big name and a good name for a long time.
They did some cool stuff. They sure did. The Remington Model 8, this is going back a long time, but the Remington Model 8 is pretty much most modern good guns can trace their lineage to that. Like the AK is just a gas operated Remington Model 8. And my Shosha light machine rifle is just a huge Remington Model 8. So, they've done some really cool stuff. So yeah, it'd be cool to keep them around, but at the end of the day, I don't really care if there are no more Remington 700s, to be honest.
Yeah, I really don't either. But I'm gonna give them my vote of confidence, and we will see where they go with it. Because I think the more gun makers, the better. And Remington's a big name that's been around a long time, so we'll see.
Yeah, here's hoping for them.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, you remember them Kiwis?
Yeah. I hear certain things on occasion.
Well, New Zealand, you guys remember they had, a horrific shooting, and they decided that the best way to respond to that is to just nuke the people's rights to arms. And they actually had a fairly robust firearms community before. They were, and years ago, they were a great nation of riflemen. But, well, of course, that's really Australia, but who cares?
Yeah.
Same thing, tiny island version. But I wonder how many people will be upset with that. Anyway, starting February 1st and lasting until May 1st, 2021, New Zealand is giving amnesty again for unlawful possession of newly prohibited firearms. And so they've put up a price list, which is, of course, ridiculous, of the buying back that they're doing. But don't worry, if your gun has special, unique features, you can apply for a special price.
These prices, this has to be like New Zealand money because these are good prices.
No, it is.
I'm like, yes, I will sell all my guns for these prices today. And then I will buy all better guns.
Yeah.
I don't know what
the precision AR-10, 4,500 New Zealand dollars. Yeah, so maybe they're doing this. So I don't know what the translation is. I think it's like 80 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, 70.
What?
72 cents on the dollar. So yeah, like some of these guns are going for like 4,000 New Zealand dollars, which is basically equal to 2,800 US dollars. Which
the Uzi carbine, 7,500 New Zealand dollars.
This is, I'm just trying to. Okay, so DPMS Panther, they're giving for near new 33.25, which is going to be.
Well, but here's the other thing. We don't know what they were going for before this. So because the market is smaller, it may be that these imports were just much more expensive.
Yeah, because for DPMS, they're giving $2,300. I'll take that deal all day, every day.
Well, but the only problem is you can't get another one afterwards. Yeah. And so if you're going to get the unique price, you have to already tell them that you have the forbidden gun. So True. It's kind of...
So what I do is I sell them all for these amazing prices, and then I move to the United States. I spend the entire nest egg on high points.
Get all the... so just as a standard comparison, the Sturmgewehr 90 PE, which I was just showing you one earlier, 7,000 New Zealand dollars. So yeah, that is no sell brand new in Switzerland for 3,500 US.
Wow.
So it could be that they are just trying to get people out of their guns. But then L1A1s, which are common over there, 3,000 New Zealand dollars.
You know, the difference about this, though, that I wasn't taking into account is that this is forced. Like,
yeah, no, I mean,
they're taking them.
Yeah, it's not a buyback. It's a take this money or go to jail if we find you.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, they're paying for it, but at the same time, like, it's forced. So I would not sell a thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, unless you would already, like you said, if you're in the position where you can move to the US afterwards, then it might be a good deal. But then again, I don't know what the prices in New Zealand were before. There's a very high likelihood that they were much more expensive than we're used to paying. Kind of like I have a lot of friends in Europe. I have a lot of French friends, and they're, of course, the 4956 MAS 4956 over there. It was hard for civilians to own until recently, because it aged into blah blah blah, and so they exported them all to the U.S. And so here, back at that time, you could get a 4956 here for like $500 to $700, and in France, it's like $3,000.
Oh, wow.
US dollar, right? $3,000 US equivalent. So we never know. We can't really know whether these prices are good or not, just because we haven't lived the market.
Right. I know. So New Zealanders, I know it'll be tough to leave the hobbits behind, but you can come to America. And I don't know.
It would be nice if they could just come.
Yeah.
I know it's really easy for Australians to get over here compared to everyone else. I don't know if that program that they made, which was kind of an incentive to turn to the U.S. rather than China, that's a huge thing that you can look into. But they gave like a special incentive to them that makes it easier to get certain visas. I wonder if that applies to New Zealanders too. I don't know.
Yeah, this is such this is bad. Like, I feel bad for New Zealand.
Yeah, no, because they're cool people.
Yeah, and the process and everything on this is like, it's very Orwellian.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
I hope they feel bad and get very sick.
Exactly. Yes, with no cure.
All
Oh man, sorry.
right. Yeah, I mean, buyback. Of course, there's the like. It's a homism, right? That we always say, you're not buying it back. You didn't sell it to me. But it's true. I hate the word. I hate the concept, and just and also think about it this way, right? We were talking about prices. We're kind of joking that the prices seem high, but price is a signal of scarcity. It's a signal of your ability to replace it if you sell it. Definitely. And so these prices are mega distorted because the price comes with the guarantee that you can't replace it.
Yeah.
So then the question is like, if I had to sell, like, you know, let's say like I wanted to buy one of your FALs, but the deal was, and then, you know, you say, okay, I'll sell it to you for like $1,200, right? But I was like, no, but the deal is you don't get another FAL. I bought it.
Yeah.
And you can't have another one because we wrote some contract. Would that change your price?
Oh yeah. It would be astronomical.
Yeah. You'd probably be like, I need $100,000 for this FAL then, or something. And so yeah, keep that in mind. It's messed up. No matter what number they put on it, it comes with a guarantee that they'll never have one again. So it's gross.
Instead of buyback, I'm just going to call it a currency-based forced disarmament.
Encouraged seizure.
Yeah, exactly.
The greasy palm seizure.
Just it makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. Yep. It's foul and feral, and they should feel bad.
Yep.
Speaking of things that are foul and feral and people should feel bad about, I'm sure you've seen all kinds of stuff about HR 127.
Yeah. Without question. It's all over the internet, all over, and everyone's freaking out about it. And
everybody's super freaking out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been to a magic show?
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed the magician's assistant?
Always.
Right. Because what are some characteristics about the magician's assistant?
Double D, scantily clad.
And a shiny outfit.
Shiny outfit. Yes. Yeah. Very, very shiny.
Yes. And so the purpose of the magician's assistant is to catch your eye while the sweaty dude is doing weird stuff with his hands.
Right.
I fear that all of this focus we're putting on 127, which is a bill so egregious that, I mean, let's talk about what it would take to pass, right? Filibuster has to go.
Yeah.
Before there's even a chance, right? Or it would have to be stripped to like nothing. And in the process of those negotiations, it'll change and it won't look anything like it does now.
Mm-hmm.
But we're so focused on this stupid law that has really very scant chances of passing without very significant events happening ahead of it. I fear that everyone's focused on this, right? And if they beat it and if it dies, which I think it will, everyone will be like celebrating. They might not even notice like a federal red flag encouragement bill or a mandatory background check, universal background check bill, just like sliding on through. What do you think about that?
I think that look over here and then this hand's going to slap you. You know, we've all played that game.
Not to say that they're doing that on purpose. I sincerely think that this person who files these bills files them every year and they do it for like, you know, brownie points. Mm-hmm. But I think that the gun community's response, which is to spend so much time and energy on this obviously egregious, terrible bill, might like waste resources that we should be using to fight the things that are more likely to pass.
Yeah, it's a good point. But I mean, if we don't fight it, then like I fear that the people who push these stupid bills forward will be emboldened. And, you know, if we don't pay attention, if we don't like raise the roof, they'll be like, okay, well, we've finally beaten them down.
Well, it's certainly a concern. It's just something to be aware of, right? I mean, we need to obviously state this is ridiculous, you know, and that we're not cool with it. But what are the representatives going to think when they get 100,000 emails about this bill and only a couple thousand about the universal background check bill.
Yeah, man.
Right? They're going to think there's a clear path to victory. So, I mean, obviously, obviously this should be opposed. But just the fact that we're so focused on it is really worrying me. When there are like more minor bills on the table that I think, I'm just super concerned that those are just going to slide on through and everyone's going to say hip, hip, hooray when we kill 127.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. They'll be like, well, at least it wasn't 127.
Right. Which is like what happened in Virginia.
Yeah.
They passed all these bills and everyone was super stoked that they killed the assault weapons ban.
Yeah.
Whereas but Virginia, there was a much closer call, right? There wasn't so much stuff standing in the way of the more egregious bill passing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just think we need to use our resources carefully. I'm really worried about fatiguing the base by focusing on, what may be a windmill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% agree that, like, I talk about that outrage fatigue all the time. It is a fear that I have that finally, like, because people just get so sick of being mad all the time. Like, I don't even barely use Facebook anymore because I just got sick of being mad all the time.
That's why you have to cultivate your Facebook feed like I do.
Mine was pretty cultivated, but it's like I've either got my left leaning friends that are, screaming about Trump, or I got my right leaning friends that are screaming about Trump. And like, I just get sick of it. And there's no real middle on Facebook anymore because everyone thinks they should share their opinion. And 99% of them shouldn't ever share their opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well,
being mad.
Then on top of that, what with the lockdowns, people, when you're not interacting with other people, there's less of a chance you're interacting with people who think differently from you.
Yeah.
So that's probably causing people to like group together into these, echo chambers that are extremely polarized. Which, yeah, I think it's not good.
No,
it's not good because, what we need to do if we want gun rights to win, we need to reach across the aisle. And like, it seems like the aisle is closed for right now.
If ever a bill to reach across the aisle over HR 127 is not a bad idea because it's full on Jim Crow, like screw the poor.
For sure. Like, I mean, yeah. And that's the kind of stuff we should be talking about, like those aspects of it, those aspects that can reach across the aisle. And of course we oppose the whole thing, but we say, look, people who vote for, this individual, you think she likes the poor, but all of a sudden it's going to cost you an extra like $900 to just be able to defend your family.
Right.
That's kind of immoral, isn't it? And, we talked about that the first time we talked about the bill. I'm just, like I said, I'm worried that the depth of the response might screw us over in the long term. Because, it's a battle, right? This is a big battle.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have to think of it like, how many guys do we put on how many resources do we put on the machine gun nest, right? When there's all of this other crap going on.
Right. And nobody wants to be the one who's, walking up to a bunker and shooting a flamethrower into it.
Right. Exactly.
I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather be like kind of back a little ways.
There are some people that do want to be that guy, but
yeah. And good, because we need them. We need all sorts, all types. We definitely need Leroy Jenkins.
Right. Oh God, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah. Leroy Jenkins is always right at the very front of my mind because it's one of the greatest things that's happened in the history of everything.
I remember that meme. That was before they were called memes.
Exactly. Yeah. Leroy Jenkins.
Warcraft. But all right. So another group of people that you just can't trust when they step outside of their specialization is doctors. Because everything, I don't care what it is, whether it be like the design of automobiles or gun safety or whatever, they always say, well, I'm a doctor, and so you should listen to me. Well, a lot of red flag laws have empowered these types of people who want to step outside of their zone of expertise. But, it's kind of flown under the radar.
Yeah.
A lot of state red flag laws enable your physician to tell the court to like, hey, this person's got guns, go, and they're scaring me or whatever. So now Johns Hopkins is putting up a a class like the doctor version of continuing legal education, continuing medical or whatever it's called. I think it's called CME. There's a class that's all about teaching clinicians about how they can red flag their patients.
What in the heck?
Right.
That is and almost encouraging it, or at least this I don't know, abstract kind of seems like it's encouraging it.
Right. It's certainly it's the abstract in that article we've linked, or that I think that's like a screenshot from them advertising it to doctors on their list or whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
It definitely, it reads like, check out this cool new trick,
Yeah, exactly. So a recent survey of Hopkins physicians found 70% of respondents initially reported being unfamiliar with ERPOs.
Yeah.
After receiving a brief description of ERPOs, 92% reported that they encounter patients for whom they would consider an ERPO petition.
Yeah.
And 60% indicated they'd be likely to file an ERPO petition for qualifying patients.
So you know what that tells me? It tells me 92% of them are aware of their patients that own guns.
Yeah.
More likely than not. And look at this. What they start out the second paragraph. Evidence shows that one life is saved for every 10 to 20 ERPOs issued.
Oh my God. Like, do these people just not believe in freedom at all?
No, well, so I mean, I always don't like to cast the other side as the boogeyman, right? So, casting them in the light that's favorable. A lot of them, they're not thinking about it that way. They're thinking about themselves as public actors, and like, what can I do to increase the health and safety of the community or whatever. And a lot of times they're not actually thinking about increasing the health and safety. They think about things they can do that make them feel like they're improving the lives of other people. And so when you hand those people tools that they can think, right, they can think they're helping, you don't be surprised when they use them.
Yeah, but I mean, God, like 10 to 20 red flags and one life is saved. Like, I mean,
they don't think about the rights. They don't think of, look, they're not civil rights people. They're doctors, and they're going, I save a life. Or maybe because they're doctors, they're all statisticians as well. Probably for every ERPO they issue, they're going, I save 5% of a life.
Yeah. Speaking about doctors that actually do kind of have an idea, that do believe in freedom, I guess, or hold on, I don't want to paint it with that broad stroke. Doctors that support gun ownership is DRGO, Doctors for Responsible Gun Ownership. Those guys are pretty cool. In fact, they just launched a new thing called 2adoc.com, 2adoc.com, and that'll connect patients with gun-friendly providers, which I think is kind of a cool thing as well.
Well, it's cool, and it's not something that we probably thought would be necessary.
Yeah.
Until you find out about this, this crap. Look, you have to be able to trust your doctor. And that's one of the reasons we have HIPAA and stuff like that. Like, giving your doctor real information, even when it's uncomfortable, is how you get good medical treatment. Like, people, a lot of lawyers I know that use hard drugs tell their doctors, and their doctors help them keep their hearts under control, like stuff like that, because they feel and trust that their doctor won't do something negative with that information. Well, if now this happens and you feel like, I've told my doctor that I shoot, maybe in casual conversation or stuff like that. And if you're feeling depressed or whatever, what this will do is make you feel discouraged to tell your doctor about, problems that you're experiencing, which decreases the likelihood that gets treated, because like tons of people go through bouts of depression and stuff like that. And they should be able to freely express that and get help, medication or whatever it is that they need, without being disincentivized. And that's exactly what this type of crap does. Because I'm going to tell you what, I live in a state that has red flag laws, right? And I need to double check whether a doctor can petition. I'm not sure if they can here. In fact, I don't think they can. But I'm going to feel weird. I'm going to feel weird about talking to my doctor if I ever, am not feeling well. Yeah.
We have a mental health problem in this country, and like this just encourages people to ignore it or hide it. And that is, I'm not a doctor, but I think that's probably a pretty harmful thing to do. And, especially let's talk about military and veterans and those guys that are dealing with stuff like that. You think one of them wants to go in there and tell a doctor that, they're having a tough time adjusting to civilian life, and, that sometimes I just wonder if they should even go on. And then now they're like the sheriff shows up at their place and takes all their firearms. Like, I mean, talk about harmful. Like, these doctors are doing harm.
Yeah, if you're a suicide risk, right?
Yeah,
and which like a lot of people are when they are going through very hard times, and almost everyone in the country is going through hard times right now. You're a suicide risk, and you feel alone, and like you feel disenfranchised, like people have been caused to feel for so many years. And then you go for help, and the help you get is a SWAT team,
right?
Like, do you think the chances that you take your own life go up or down?
My guess would be up. Like,
probably up by a lot.
Yeah.
Because that is traumatic, especially, if you're a veteran and you come back and you're having a hard time adjusting, and then what is the first thing they do is raid you? Come on, that's a nightmare. That's nightmare fuel. This is bad news.
Totally agree. And there is an organization that I actually like to talk about. It's Holdmyguns.org, and they kind of do that if someone's like thinking they may harm themselves, and they want a way to store their firearms away from themselves until they move through it, until they get past it. Holdmyguns.org has a network of reliable FFLs throughout the country that people can go turn their stuff in, no questions asked, and pick them up when they are ready to pick them up. And
yeah, I know Genevieve, really great people behind it. Cool mission and everything like that.
Yep. So drgo.us, 2adoc.com, and holdmyguns.org are some places that maybe you go read some stuff.
Yeah, check them out. Take a look.
Exactly. And forget Johns Hopkins.
Charlatans. But I mean, yeah, so like I'm a doctor, but my doctor's in law. You probably don't want to come to me to ask about what's going on with your heart, right?
I got to show you this bump I got.
but right, I don't know why medical doctors think that they can opine on areas of public policy and of that involve constitutional rights. They should really look, get back in your box. I'll stay in my box. You stay in your box.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, like if these doctors want to share their opinions on their personal Facebook page, like go do that. That's great. Like you want to tweet about it. Awesome. Don't do it under the name Johns Hopkins.
Right.
John,
next up,
blazing it up with Sloan Kettering all summer.
Right on.
Step Brothers reference. All right.
So Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yes.
There's a new tale in the saga.
Perfect.
Prosecutors are claiming that he has violated bond and are seeking an arrest warrant.
Awesome.
The problem? They're saying he moved and didn't notify them within 48 hours.
Man, they have a real red one for this kid.
There you go with the red one again.
Yep. I mean, clearly his defense team knows about this rule.
Right.
Yet he still chose to do it. Or maybe, I don't know.
Well, maybe exactly what happened, right? This just hit the news.
Yeah.
So it could have been, I mean, I don't know. It can be hard to stay in technical compliance with all of these things. And in most instances, they're very forgiving, when you make an innocent error. But that said, he does know he's under the spotlight. His team should be paying much closer attention. But whatever happened, and now they're trying to have him arrested for this technical violation.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts because you think, oh, moving, not a big deal, especially for someone who's probably been getting death threats, as I read somewhere else that was one of the reasons that they moved. And that, for what it's worth, like, I don't know, I'm not in this situation. I don't know anything about them, but I mean, I can rationalize that this is a thing that may happen to him.
Right.
So they move and they don't publicize. Oh,
right.
Sorry.
Well, like I don't know about you, but moving is like kryptonite to me.
Oh yeah, me too. I would die. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like I could understand like forgetting obligations 2 days after the actual move happens, like after you've packed all of your crap and put it in the new place.
Yeah.
I think my brain turns into jelly for probably 3 days after that happens. So, I mean, it's understandable, right? And this, like, I don't know, this laser hawk focus on stuff like that. Look, you obviously know he moved and everybody knew he was moving. Right? It was like publicly known. So is he doing this to try to get away from, his bond agreement?
Probably not. No.
Like, this looks like this is hyper technical crap. And I mean, not opining on the underlying case at all. This is just this thing that they're doing here seems politically motivated, and it seems like, yeah, like you're saying, it just seems like they've got a red rocket and they're finding anything they can to hump.
So I don't know criminal law at all, and this question may not even be I don't know, worth asking. However, so he's got a $2 million bond. Now he's in violation of this $2 million bond, and the arrest warrant may have or is going to be issued for him. So he gets arrested for violating his bond, which means that he's no longer allowed to have bond, and that bond is now forfeited. Is that how that works?
I don't know how it works in that state.
Okay.
But it definitely would put it in jeopardy in most states.
Interesting. And I mean, that means that instead of being out on bond, like he's just in jail until trial.
Yep.
Man.
So, I mean, he can have another hearing to try to,
right. Explain it away.
Yeah. And, it in some states, it's like a hard no, it's not going to happen. In other states, it's like they might afford you some leniency. It really just depends on the states and sometimes just the judge. But now with all of this spotlight, where a judge might usually be lenient, they might be like, look, I don't want my name, right, being tied to this. Like, I know that you weren't actually trying to, materially violate, but I'm not going to be the judge to sign on sending you out because I don't want the newspapers, Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's our justice system doesn't work very well. Wait, what's that say? Media is the enemy. We're the media.
What's that?
Media,
Yeah. I mean, we are the enemy. Like, don't listen to us either. Don't listen to anybody. Form your own opinions.
Yeah, check it out yourself, because we post our work though, unlike the big media.
True.
We post our links, but yeah, the criminal justice system is unjust, and it's especially unjust when it's turned into a public circus.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ridiculous.
It annoys me that a judge would even think for 1 second, because what you just said is totally right. Like, a judge would be like, you know what, I don't want to be dragged through the mud in the media. So yeah, I'm gonna hold him and not let him back out on bond because I don't want my name dragged through the mud. And that's why the mainstream media is the enemy.
Right. The lamestream media
jerks.
Go back to printing paper journos, burning trees and stuff.
Exactly.
Well, we can end on a good note, though. We can talk about something nice. So, Ivan the Troll?
I am aware of I have heard the name many times in the 3D printing community.
Yeah, well, he's a good guy. He's a friend. I really like him. He is obsessed with Browning Hi-Powers.
Nice.
And he has been collecting, like, he's gotten so many of them. It's been ridiculous. He's buying everyone he sees because he's developed a 3D printable Browning Hi-Power frame. And but TFB just picked up on this, on what he's been doing. But this is actually a really cool thing, because so that you can get Browning Hi-Power parts kits, right? But there's another thing that this solves. This isn't just about another gun that you can make at home. So with Browning Hi-Powers, there's a common failure where the camming lug in the frame will crack. And it's a total nightmare to replace. It's not just a part that comes in. It's something that's fit to the gun. And so that'll crack and the gun will be dead effectively. But now that Ivan has come out with this frame, it means all of those guns can talk again.
That's pretty dang awesome. So saving some stuff that may have gone to the junk pile otherwise.
Exactly.
It looks good too.
They're cool. And he tells me that he won't stop. Well, he won't stop collecting high-power parts kits, but he has told me that he needs to have all of the colors of the rainbow represented in completed Browning Hi-Powers.
Wonderful.
I don't think he'll stop when he gets there, but
I see yellow, orange, blue, red.
Yeah, he's got ketchup and mustard there.
Oh yeah, ketchup and mustard. That's amazing.
Yeah, shooting into his trash pile.
He does a lot of work in the 3D printing space.
He's a machine, dude. He works really hard. He's a very young man, and he's done some incredible stuff. If we lived in a free country, he would be able to put his name freely on everything, and would be a public celebrity.
That is pretty dang cool. So, like, are these released yet? Like the 3D print, the model, or is it still going to be?
So like there's some slight deviations right from the different frames, and so he's working them out. But I do think that some of the files have been released.
That's pretty cool. I don't have a Browning high power.
Well,
do you?
I have two. I have a Canadian Inglis, which I adore, and I have actually that I bought for virtually nothing because the frame lug was cracked. I bought years ago,
Nice.
and it's really contract FN, and now it gets to talk again because of Ivan.
That's pretty dang cool. Where do people keep up with the stuff he does?
On Twitter. I mean, his usernames are always changing, but if you search for Ivan the Troll, you'll be able to find him.
Okay, that's pretty.
You'll be able to find him in different places. This article refers to his Reddit Ivan T Troll, but I think that's like his 8th Reddit account.
Nice.
Suffice to say, the lizard powers don't like him that much.
I can imagine that. I have the same Reddit username that I had when I started Reddit like 13 years ago.
I don't have a Reddit username.
You just browse anonymously?
I don't use Reddit.
Oh, wow.
I mean, sometimes I look at them. I really like just rolled into the shop.
Okay.
The mechanics Reddit where they show like obscene stuff that customers bring in.
Yeah, I've seen that. That I did not know that about you, and I actually respect you a lot less now.
Really?
Yeah, not a Reddit guy.
I'm not a Reddit guy, but I see its utility and stuff, but I don't want to post. You know.
That's awesome. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. You know, maybe convince me, talk me into it, get me to sign up for something.
No, man. Reddit is cancer, but I look at it pretty much every day, and my account has been the same for 14 years. I just looked Redditor for 14 years, which is actually kind of pathetic.
Wait, actually, no. I did make an account once because somebody had found one of my websites that I made in high school, and were like, "What the heck is up with that guy?" And I just commented and said something obscene. But like that account probably still exists.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Like 10, 12 years ago.
Oh, dang it. I forgot we have a subreddit for We Like Shooting, and I just see that somebody is posting in there and no one has replied to them, and now I feel bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You
Yeah, I'm terrible at Reddit, but you know, it's just gone wild, and I don't know, like our guns and our firearms. That's where I spend my time.
It's such a whatever.
I'm just kidding.
It does give you a lot of granularity for whatever you're into.
I actually I try to cruise the front page because it kind of keeps me up to date. However, I will say Reddit over the last couple like year, maybe 2 years, has gone so like when Condé Nast bought them, it kind of ruined Reddit. It's so left leaning and not even left leaning as much as it is anti-conservatism.
We did get Wall Street bets out of it.
Yes, we did. By the way, do you have any AMC or GME?
I played the game and it was not smart.
No, I basically threw money into a fire, knowing that I was throwing money into a fire. In fact, I am down so much today, it's kind of ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah. I'm going to look it up real quick right now.
I did get to gain from it, though, because I realized that a long time ago I had bought shares of a gaming index fund on drunken advice at a like DC party. He was like, "You got to buy this game index." I was like, "Yeah, fine." And so I think it was so cheap. I bought like 10 shares, and then I noticed during this thing, like 50% of that index was GameStop. And so when it hit its high, I was like, "Hold on, why'd this thing go up so much?" See ya.
Nice.
Yeah, I lost my ass on the GME, but on that index, I made like a good bit of money.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm down 41% today. 42,
nice.
43% just falling on GME, but AMC, I'm like, it's down a little bit, but I think that one will come back. Either way, it doesn't matter. I just did it to screw over the system.
The problem is, I mean, screwing over the system is a super support, but the problem is that when I tried to jump in, I was thinking of it as like a traditional investor and not a meme lord.
No, I was thinking of it 100% as the Tendy Man is going to send our rocket into the sun.
Oh yeah, they made a shanty out of that.
Yeah, I played it on WLS the other night. It's pretty fantastic. Have you heard it?
Hey, the Tendy Man come.
Here, let me. I'll play just a stanza for the people.
Yeah.
There once was a stock that put to sea. The name of the stock was GME. The price blew up and the shorts dipped down. Hold my bully boys, hold. Soon may the Tendy Man come. Now rocket into the sun. One day when the trading is done, we'll take our gains and go.
Yeah. So yeah,
Solid.
it is solid. I love it. Anyone who listens to all the shows that I'm on probably is just so sick of it right now because I've been addicted to it. But yeah, so I threw my money into the fire, and I literally, when it hits 0, I will still not sell. And it doesn't matter. Like it's about making a point. And honestly, they're doing ladder attacks on it right now. So I think because people aren't selling, when you look at everything that's going on, people aren't selling. The price is dropping because of these ladder attacks. So just hold, unless you're going to lose your house or something. And then I totally understand you selling, but it's just
utterly fascinating. It's utterly fascinating.
It is.
That like that guy, deep effing value.
Yeah.
Like he totally could have just like stepped out and like, although I'm going to tell you, I don't believe that he didn't sell a lot of that when it hit its high.
God, man. Like we're talking tens of millions of dollars.
I don't believe that he didn't pull money out. He says he didn't. I do not believe it. There is like, how could you resist the temptation?
I couldn't. Like, I'm not strong.
I'd have just disappeared. I'd have just been like, all right, bye.
Oh man. All right. So before we go, we do have to talk about Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co. Got a coupon code for the people, Matt.
Okay.
It's twig 10, and that's
Twig 10.
Yeah.
This Week in Guns 10. You're going to get 10% off of your beautiful patches, I think. These patches are dope. You got to check them out. They got a patch club for those of you with a patch wall.
Yes.
You can automate it.
You really can. It just, I literally, right before I walked into the studio, the mailman handed me a box, and it has the patch of the month in there. I didn't even have a chance to open it, but I've got a big patch wall here and a big patch wall there, and it'll go right on there, and they're awesome. Or, if you don't want to put it on a patch wall, you could wear it on your plate carrier or your stick helmet or
the stupid hats.
Yeah. Or the patch hats. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of those, but a jacket.
No, I mean, that's all cool. I just hate hats. So that's my prejudice coming out, and it's just because they don't look good on me. That's the only reason I don't like hats.
I imagine that you just like wearing it on the top of your head, just looking all awkward.
Yeah, and I have a ridiculously large head. There's it's you can't really tell on the camera, but Sean, you've seen me in person.
Yeah,
I'm kind of a bobblehead.
It's a big head. So Nick, who sits next to me on We Like Shooting, also a huge head. Like he can't even wear flex fit hats, like because they don't make them big enough for him, and they like cut off his circulation. I don't know. Anyway, patriotpatch.co is the place to go. Twig 10 is the coupon code. Matt, the floor is yours.
All right, guys, check out Patriot Patch. Thanks so much for coming, and we will see you next week this time.
All right. Bye.
All right, that was fun.
Always.